Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. Let's go ahead and talk about what Rafa did first. It's Monday, so Rafa was here. Again, he is focused on the very beautiful Prairie Beige 57 Beetle. Still working on some details on this one mostly. One thing was that the overrider supports, so these pieces right here were silver, which is how they come from Wolfsburg West. That's actually not correct for this car. For earlier cars, they were black. So in interest of the owner's wishes, making the details on this car as correct as we could, we went ahead and sent those out and had them powder coated. Rafa put those back on today. They actually look much better. It's amazing how much difference those being black versus silver look. I think it just, since this is a older car, a 50s car, I think to me it just looks right. 60s Beetles, they were silver on. That's fine. That's how they came. But I think especially on an older one, it just looks more correct having them black. Anyway, those little details like that, we love those. We love getting them right. So there you go. Other thing he worked on is putting in the battery strap, which may not sound like a very big deal, but there's a little hook that goes on the floor about right there that was not welded to the floor, so we ordered that little piece. Luckily Wolfsburg West has it, and Rafa welded it in, and then we actually restored an original battery cover, which is this thing you see here. Had it powder coated, put a new little for those of you that are familiar with those, there's let me just go ahead and show it here. There's basically like a piece of wood in here, or kind of like particle board, so that the battery posts can't short out on the inside of this. This is actually how they came from the factory. So we send these out, we have them powder coated, and then we cut a new little square of this material, so it's very, very factory looking. And then you can see right there, Rafa went ahead, like I said, and welded in the little piece that was supposed to be there. And so yeah, battery installation is going to look very cool, very correct, with the right cover on it and everything. Again, a little detail you don't see on a lot of cars, but we do find the correct size battery for these cars, which is a 19L size, 6 volts of course, and then put the cover on it and everything. Looks bitchin' super correct looking on these cars. Other than that, there were some issues with the vent wings on this car. The rubbers, seals on them were not quite installed right, so we went ahead and pulled those apart and we're putting them correct. And then also as it turns out, some of the internal door mechanisms were kind of bent and mangled a little bit. So Rafa went ahead and pulled all that apart and straightened it all out and is putting it back together correctly and with everything straight, and it should work really, really nice. And then tomorrow we're getting new latches and some new rubber seals and stuff, so the vent windows will go back in probably tomorrow. So those are the major things for this car today. Again, a lot of details, none of which are super exciting on their own, but they all add up to a car that's going to be super nice, very correct. It's really, really going to be a nice car. I think this thing's going to be a showstopper for sure, especially with all these little correct details for people who know what is correct. I think people are going to love it. And certainly the owner seems very happy with what he's seeing here. So let me switch gears to the Karmann Ghia today. Not too much on this one today. I spent Thursday and Friday on it, and today mostly back to more restoration work on this bus here. I'll talk about that in a minute. But since I was sending stuff out for powder coating and zinc plating, I went ahead and pulled there's two little levers that go sort of here and here that control the heater system on these Ghias. So from the factory, they were plated, probably CAD plated, but I went ahead and pulled those out and wire brushed them and got them ready and sent them out with the rest of the zinc plating. And then likewise, I pulled the shifter and cleaned it up, and it's going out for the base, and the shift lever itself are going out for powder coating. So yeah, we're going through all the trouble to put in new carpet and fix up these seat pads and stuff like that. So we might as well have really nice looking controls in the car. that are all, you know, freshly painted and freshly powder coated. So this car is going to look really, really nice when we're done with it. So other than those things, some sheet metal came today. So we got the piece that goes right here and then the piece that goes here. The piece that goes across the back, we're probably only going to use about a third of it. This side over here is pretty roached. The rest of it's basically fine. So we'll probably kind of cut it about here somewhere and patch in that new piece. And then this piece that goes kind of here, probably just replace that whole piece. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. So other than that, those of you that may have noticed on the thumbnail for this video, the, gosh, I have to think about which one this one is. The 61 bus, thank you, actually has suspension on it now. So I had previously built the front suspension for it. So we went ahead and we took this bus off this enormous dolly that it was sitting on, got that out from underneath of it, and now it actually has its own suspension on it. It's not sitting on the ground yet, but it probably will be pretty soon. I think the owner is working on getting us wheels and tires for it. So it won't be long and this thing can sit on its own wheels, which is kind of exciting. Seems like a good milestone. And then similarly, put on the rear spring plates and suspension, got them all dialed in, and put in the transmission, got it connected to the clutch cable and so on. And yeah, the brakes I had built previously, it's almost a shame to cover them up. They look so nice with all the zinc plated parts and so on, but we'll have to cover them up. I guess we got to run brake drums. Anyway, yeah, so happy with how this is all coming out. Again, we restored a bunch of original hardware for this car. So look at those big 27mm bolts. It's original for this car. Just love the way those look. And then this is an original cradle mount here that we sent out and powder coated. And what else? I think that is about it. A lot of work putting these things together like this, but really good progress for today, just getting its front and rear suspension on it. So there you go. That is it for today. Pretty productive day in the shop. Thanks for watching. I'll say it, if you haven't subscribed to our channel and you like our content, please subscribe. Likewise, if you like our content, please hit like. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.